The year 2000, the founder of J-Star Ministries has been helping people in need. And as KLTV7's Jamie Boyum tells us, after unsuccessfully setting up his nonprofit in several Longview locations, he decided to set up shop at his grandfather's farm near Harleton.
Patrick Johnson is always busy. If he hears about people in trouble, he loads up his trailer with immediate need supplies from his disaster warehouse and goes. His endeavors in Longview, including partnering with another nonprofit, just didn't work out.
COVID threw everything off, but after a little while they contacted me and said, hey, it's a go. And so this is my grandfather's property, which is now our property.
He took J-Star Ministries home to Harleton.
I want the land to be utilized in the right way, that people will, just feel loved, appreciated, those that come here and, are struggling financially with food.
From his property, he gives away food 3 Fridays a month and doesn't turn down anyone who just shows up needing help. Johnson's success through attitude and respect, or J-Star, is also about helping struggling kids.
We do the Coats for Youth, we do Christmas for kids and everything, so every child in our program will automatically be on that list and be taken care of.
He and his wife take groups of up to 15 students on day trips.
It's educational. We want to whet their appetite for college and let them see something different, get them out of their particular comfort zone, if you would.
Patrick may take them to a university or a business and even will teach them how to change a tire.
Practical things that they can use not only now but later on in life.
And as far as his food pantry, well, that's not new. Patrick says his grandfather would give away some of the produce he grew to those in need. So he's just carrying on a family tradition. Jamie Boyum, KLTV 7 News.
And he recently took a load of supplies to California fire victims. Next Tuesday, he'll take items to those affected by recent tornadoes in Oklahoma.